Good morning, I'm Samriddhi K.C. and these are the headlines of the hour. Rainfall witnessed in different parts of the nation. Siddhartha Highway section within Palpa district blocked due to landslide. Transportation partially affected due to the disaster. High-level economic reform recommendation committee suggests to repeal 15 laws for economic improvement. Suggests to provide old-aged allowance to people above 70 years. Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff meets Russian President Vladimir Putin to discuss the war in Ukraine. Meeting focused on several aspects of Ukrainian settlement. And Kolkata Knight Riders register an 8-wicket win over Chennai Super Kings in the ongoing Indian Premier League. CSK condemns to 5 defeats in a row for the first time. The weather across the country remains cloudy today due to the influence of local and westerly winds. The Department of Hydrology and Meteorology has reported that the effect of moisture-laden air which entered Nepal from the Bay of Bengal a few days ago persists, resulting in cloud cover and rainfall in many parts of the country. Currently, many areas in Kathmandu Valley, Gandaki, Lumbini and Karnali provinces are experiencing rainfall with showers continuing since last night. The department has indicated that on Saturday afternoon, there is a possibility of light to moderate rainfall with thunderstorms and lightning in the hilly regions of Karnali and Sudurpashchim provinces. There is also a chance of rain in 1 or 2 places in the hilly areas of the remaining provinces. Additionally, there is a possibility of light snowfall in 1 or 2 places in the high mountainous and Himalayan regions. On Saturday night, there is a possibility of light rainfall in the areas of Koshi and Madhya provinces. There is also a chance of snowfall in the high mountainous areas during the night. The department forecasts that the weather will gradually clear from Sunday onwards. The Siddhartha Highway, which was blocked due to a landslide around 4 a.m. and a tipper truck struck in the culvert, has been reopened for one-way traffic. The road was cleared for one-way traffic after the tipper truck was removed from the culvert and the landslide was cleared. Police have stated that vehicles are being sent to their destinations via the one-way cleared road. Earlier this morning, a car traveling from Butwal to Parpa was buried in the Dobhan Siddhababa area of Tinurula Municipality 3 Palpa. Police have reported that the car was completely damaged. The driver and passengers of the car were rescued in a stable condition, according to the police. The tipper truck, which had become stuck after sinking into a culvert under construction in the lower and upper Siddhababa areas, was removed with the help of large machinery. China's State Construction Engineering Corporation is currently working on the construction of a tunnel in the Siddhababa area, as well as culverts, drains and rock netting on the existing highway. This area has a problem of rocks which are perched on soft soil, falling even during the dry season. Former Secretary Rameshwar Khanna-led High-Level Economic Reform Recommendation Commission has suggested that the government regulate rather than control industries and trade to overcome the existing economic stagnation. In the report submitted to Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister Bishnu Paudel yesterday, the Commission has included suggestions ranging from the repeal of 15 laws to providing relief to cooperative victims for economic improvement. The Commission has concluded that economic reform is possible only if policy amendments and practical implementation are carried out. The report also states that forest and environment-related laws are hindering investment in industries and a separate law should be made to manage construction materials. Likewise, concluding that the economy has not been able to move due to the decrease in both market demand and supply, the Commission has suggested adopting a policy to reduce cost, increase production and maintain the value chain.
मूलभूत रूपमा सरकार सहजकारी भूमिका खेल्न पर्यो नियन्त्रण बढी भयो भने आर्थिक गतिविधि विस्तार हुन सक्दैन व्यावसायिक स्वतन्त्रता आर्थिक स्वतन्त्रता दिन पर्यो नियन्त्रणहरू कम गर्दै लिएर जान पर्यो र त्यो गर्ने क्रममा कतिपय कानुनहरू चाहिँ नियन्त्रणमुखी भएको हुनाले र सामान्य आर्थिक अपराधमा पनि जेलै पठाउने अथवा व्यवसाय नै बन्द गरिदिने यस्ता कामहरूले चाहिँ आर्थिक गतिविधि विस्तार हुन सक्दैन त्यही भएर त्यस्ता कानुनहरू खारेज गर्नुपर्छ र कतिपय कानुनहरू चाहिँ नयाँ तर्जुमा गर्नुपर्छ र अहिले भइरहेका नीतिहरूमा जुन किसिमको समस्या छ त्यसलाई सुधार गर्नुपर्छ भनेर प्रत्येक क्षेत्रगत हिसाबले हामीले चाहिँ विश्लेषण गरेर सुझाव दिएका छौँ।
The Commission has suggested guaranteeing easy availability of river-based materials to facilitate development and construction work. Likewise, concluding that the tax burden has discouraged economic activity, the Commission has suggested reducing income tax and making arrangements to prevent political parties from receiving donations. Furthermore, to reduce the economic burden, it has also suggested increasing the age of senior citizens receiving Social Security allowance by 2 years. While stating that it will take time to liquidate loss-making public institutions and recover assets from problematic cooperative organizations, the Commission has suggested arranging immediate return of savings up to 500,000 to cooperative victims, with the remaining amount to be recovered later. The Commission has also recommended implementing the reports of the previously formed Public Expenditure Review Commission and the High-Level Tax System Committee. The private sector demands immediate implementation of the Commission's report.
आम इन्भेस्टर चाहे डोमेस्टिक होस् चाहे एफडीआईबाट आउने इन्भेस्टर चाहिँ किन नहोस् त्यसलाई चाहिँ उत्साहित गरेर नेपालमा नै रोजगारी सृजना गर्ने, नेपालमै नै धेरैभन्दा धेरै भन्नाले चाहिँ रेभिन्यू बढाउने, पूर्वाधार बनाउने र आम पब्लिकलाई चाहिँ सेवा दिने हिसाबको चाहिँ एउटा चाहिँ वातावरण बनाउँछ भन्ने कुरो यसले चाहिँ देखाएको छ।
यदि यो रिपोर्टको कार्यान्वयन पूर्ण रूपले हुने हो भने हाम्रो आर्थिक वृद्धि दर 9% भन्दा माथि जान्छ। उहाँहरूले पनि यो कुरामा सहमत हुनुभयो। मेजर समस्या के छ भने हामी खुला बजार अर्थतन्त्र भनेर हिँडिरहेका छौं, तर यो कोभिड महामारीपछि जति पनि नीतिहरू आए नि त्यो सबै नियन्त्रणकारी नीतिहरू आए क्या। अहिले 9 मात्रैको खुला बजार अर्थतन्त्र छ, यसलाई खुला बजार अर्थतन्त्रको हिसाबले अगाडि बढाउन दिनु पर्यो।
रोजगारी सिर्जना गर्न सक्छौं, आयात प्रतिस्थापन गरेर हाम्रो ट्रेड डेफिसिट घटाउन सक्छौं भन्ने कुरा प्रिन्सिपली हरेक ठाउँमा यो एग्रीड छ, यो गर्ने हो। तर त्यो पनि हामीलाई धेरै यो रिस्ट्रिक्टिभ पोलिसीहरूले गर्दा रोकिराखेको अवस्था छ। तर अब यो जुन हाम्रो यो प्रतिवेदन आएको छ यसबाट यो उत्पादनशील क्षेत्रलाई नै अगाडि बढाउनु पर्छ भन्नेमै हामीले फोकस गरेर दिएका छौं र यो अब पोलिसी इम्प्लिमेन्टेसनमा जाने हो भने उत्पादनशील क्षेत्रको जीडीपीमा योगदान बढ्दै जान्छ भन्ने हाम्रो विश्वासै छ।
The Commission has suggested mobilizing loans targeting high-return projects. Likewise, it has been proposed to reduce the penalty levied under the Income Tax Act by 50% even for normal errors and omissions other than planned tax evasion. The report also mentions fixing custom rates in a way that the price difference between goods in Nepal and India is not significant. Finance Minister Bishnu Paudel said that the suggestions given by the Commission would be implemented.
यस्तो पनि हुने गरेको छ कि आयोग बनाउने र आयोगको प्रतिवेदन चाहिँ दराज सजाउनका निम्ति प्रयोग हुने त्यसखालको पनि अनुभव छ। यसपटक सरकारले दराज सजाउनको निम्ति यो चाहिँ आयोग गठन गरेको थिएन। आयोगका सुझावहरू कार्यान्वयनका निम्ति थिए भन्ने त्यो चाहिँ स्थापित गर्ने पनि सरकारको प्रयास रहनेछ भन्ने पनि
The government had formed the High-Level Economic Reform Recommendation Commission under the coordination of former Finance Secretary Rameshwar Khanal last October to reduce the country's economic stagnation and make the economy dynamic. Time for international update. US envoy Steve Witkoff met Vladimir Putin in the St. Petersburg yesterday as Donald Trump urged the Russian president to get moving on the ceasefire in Ukraine. The Kremlin said the meeting lasted for more than 4 hours and focused on aspects of Ukrainian settlement. The talks, Witkoff's third with Putin this year, were described by the special envoy Kirill Dmitriev as productive. Earlier in the day, European nations agreed 21 billion euros in the military aid for the Kyiv. At the event, Europe's defense ministers said they saw no sign of an end to the war. Ahead of the Putin-Witkoff talks, Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov said there was no need to expect breakthroughs as the process of normalizing relations is ongoing. Beforehand, Witkoff had a meeting with Dmitriev at the Grand Hotel Europe in St. Petersburg, where a conference was held on stainless steel and the Russian market. Wall Street posted solid gains yesterday as big banks kicked off first quarter earnings season and investors closed the book on the turbulent week of wild swings driven by the chaos of US President Donald Trump's Hydra-headed trade war. All three major U.S. indexes ended the session sharply higher after assurances from Boston Federal Reserve President Susan Collins that the Fed is prepared to keep financial markets functioning should the need arise. The S&P 500 gained 95.31 points or 1.81% to end at 5,363.36 points, while the NASDAQ Composite gained 337.14 points or 2.06 to 16,724.46. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 619.05 points or 1.56% to 40,212.71. A repatriation flight landed yesterday in Venezuela, returning 191 nationals from the United States as a part of a bilateral agreement to repatriate undocumented migrants. The flight touched down at Simon Bolivar International Airport near Caracas in the morning, carrying 16 women and 175 men. Minister of Popular Power for Transport Ramon Velasquez reported that 2 of the returnees were subjects of a raid notice issued by Colombian Interpol. This marks the second flight this week returning Venezuelan migrants from the U.S. and the 13th since the inception of Donald Trump's large-scale deportation initiative. These repatriation flights are the result of an agreement between Washington and Caracas finalized following a visit by Trump's special envoy Richard Grenell to Caracas in January. Argentina is dismantling key parts of its years-long currency controls and loosening its grip on a peso, a major policy move for the South American nation ahead of a $20 billion IMF deal being finalized. The central bank announced that it will undo a fixed currency peg from Monday, letting the peso to freely fluctuate within a moving band between 1,000 and 1,400 pesos per dollar versus 1,074 at the close on Friday. Argentina will eliminate major parts of the so-called cepo capital controls that have restricted access to foreign currency. Companies from this year will also be able to repatriate profits out of the country, a key demand from businesses that could unlock more investment. The new exchange rate system could allow the peso to weaken almost a third if the currency were to hit the weaker edge of the band, although the central bank is likely to have some tools to intervene. The band will expand 1% each month. The policy move comes as the country waits for the final green light by the International Monetary Fund Board for the 23rd program in a long and mottled history between the grains-producing nation and the Washington-based lender. The vote is expected later on Friday. And thousands of Pakistanis took to the streets of the country's second biggest city, Lahore, yesterday to rally in solidarity with the people of Gaza. The gathering took place after Pakistan's major Islamist party Jamaat-e-Islami called for the countrywide demonstrations against Israel and in support of Palestinians. Lahore saw the biggest gathering in the country, with smaller ones in other cities including Islamabad and Karachi. The war between Israel and the Palestinian militant group started when Hamas fighters carried out the deadliest attack in decades on Israel in October 2023, killing 1,200 people in the southern Israel and taking some 250 hostages. Since then, more than 50,800 Palestinians have been killed in Israel's military campaign. Hundreds of thousands of Gaza City residents have lost their only source of clean water in the past week after supplies from Israel's water utility were cut by Israeli army's renewed offensive. Pakistan maintains no diplomatic relations with Israel. That is all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.